It's been like living in two worlds. In my growing up time, Aboriginal people weren't allowed to be served within shops and not allowed to go to the swimming pool. At the movie theatre, I could remember one time there was a roped off area where Aboriginal people had to sit right down the front, and they had to come in and exit through a separate door to the rest of the community.
What time frame? What period are we talking here?
Talking in the 40s, the 50s.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, and I wanted to go and sit with my cousins, and I can remember my mum saying, "You wait till the lights go out, and you come back before the lights come on at half time. We don't want to get anyone into trouble."
This is the period, or one of the periods of the stolen generation, yeah?
Absolutely.
Did you have personal experience of that?
Yes, I did. I couldn't understand what was happening at the time because I was only a small child. I had 3 cousins taken from the old South Bathurst School. And
from the school itself? From the school
itself. 2 cousins, and they were taken to Kinshilla Boys' Home.
Yes.
And Zona, I think she might have been in kindergarten or first class. She was taken, and we think she might have been taken to Cootamundra Girls' Home, but we could never ever find out. Auntie and Uncle used to save up their money and get a train to Sydney, and they had a little tiny black and white photo of Zona, and they used to walk the streets of Sydney and say, "Have you seen my girl?" But we never did find out.
Never?
Never. It destroyed Uncle. He turned to drink. Auntie became a very bitter old lady.
Yeah.
Because that was their only daughter. Yeah.
And this is not an uncommon story, is it?
Unfortunately not.
No.
Unfortunately not.
Aunty Gloria, what can you tell me about Auntie Etty?
That old lady, she pushed culture and knowledge into us fair-skinned kids. And I think the reason must have been that we weren't in any danger of being taken.
Yeah.
And this was a way of knowledge to go forward.
From an educational point of view, what would you like to see in place for your young ones?
I would like to see, as part of the educational curriculum, that culture and languages are taught as part of curriculum. I mean, a lot of our students learn other languages other than our First Peoples language.
Yep.
Education is one of my passions because I never had the opportunity to get a good education. I made sure that our sons and daughters had a good education, a better education than me and the old fella Ray, because he didn't get a good education either.
Have things changed? Have you during your lifetime?
Fortunately, yes. We have many more freedoms now as Aboriginal people than when in my growing up time. The young ones coming up today are much more educated. They're not afraid to speak out. They have passion. They have energy. So I put a great deal of faith in some of these young ones coming up behind us.
What do you think we can do? And I'm asking this, I suppose, as a candidate, but also from a community perspective. What can we do to help bring community together? What do you think is needed?
That's a big question.
It is.
And it is a hard one. Be open and honest. Just be yourself, Margaret. It takes Aboriginal people quite a long time to be able to trust.
Yeah.
Because,
that I completely understand.
Yes.
2024 is looming. A lot of people won't understand the significance of that date. Can you fill us in on why it's important?
Yes, 2024 would be the 200th year of the massacre down at the potato patch in Kelso. As the story goes, and it was just told to me, Windadone's wife, his mother-in-law and a child were invited by the farmer's wife to come and get some potatoes, which they did. And it was a few days later that they were passing again, and they went in to get some more potatoes. But this time it was the farmer that he came out with his gun and he yelled and he screamed and he shot them. In Wiradjuri law, when permission is given for something, that's permission given. You don't have to keep asking. So there was a misunderstanding there, and because of that there was loss of life. And
so much of it comes down to communication, doesn't it?
Yes.
Just being able to talk.
Miscommunication.
But even now, just being able to talk. Truth-telling is going to be very important moving forward. From your perspective, why is that? What's been missed in the past?
Not been listened to, not just by me, but elders of the past as well.
Do you think there should be representation on council in some form?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've said on more than one occasion that part of the reason why I'm running is to give young people hope.
Yes.
That we can make positive change. What would you hope for your young ones?
What I'd like to be able to see that their parents can pass on cultural knowledge to those young ones coming up behind, because they need their sense of identity. They need to know where they belong. And this is missing in a lot of families. And I had experiences when I worked within corrective services over about 12 years. I worked between Bathurst, Kirkconnell and Lithgow jails. The men there, they had no sense of belonging.
So maybe that's something we should be aiming for together.
Yes. The sense of identity, that they have to have their identity and a sense of belonging, knowing where they belong.
So important.
It is.
We might wind it up at that point. But listen, thank you for your time today.
It's been interesting, Margaret.
Well, hopefully it will be the first of many conversations, hey?